Sorry about that. Sorry for the technical difficulties. And I can actually move over a little bit this way. Hopefully you guys can see me better. Move that chair over a little bit. There we go. So, I gotta find some purple. Like a darker purple for this Choas Beast that I was showing right here. So, hopefully you guys can see it. Gotta keep an eye on the live feed. I'm not seeing anything yet, so hopefully nothing happened to it. But definitely gotta find some purples. Black into brown. Chestnut. See, is there anything up here? On some purple wash. I found a gem purple. That'd be good for the inside of the mouth. Monarch purple. There we go. There's that dark purple I was looking for. Got myself a wet palette today. So, hopefully you guys can see that. I'm not sure at what angle you can see from the little camera here. Alright. So I'm not sure how dry the tip is, but we'll find out together. Yeah, it's not too dry. Alright, so we need to find a brush that's going to cover the majority of the miniature. I got some extra paper towel today. That way we can dry brush when we need to. I think it's going to be a nice purple on this miniature here. I think it gives a nice color. And so obviously this is what I'm going on there. And then obviously when I give it some shade, it should help darken it. I'll put some of that purple shade on. If I don't like the way it looks, I can always put on the Nolan oil, because that'll help it be much darker. Alright. So I'm going to check YouTube to see if I can actually see something on my phone. Because I want to make sure that if it's running slow just on my laptop, then I know it's not running slow on the internet. So make sure that if it's running slow, well, it's running good. So it's just my laptop. So good, good. So, all right, let's get some more of this monarch purple. So use this. The best way to use this purple is kind of pour it out slowly. There we go. Try not to waste it. All right. Paint away. So this is going to give it some life. I don't like the way this is going to turn out. I think it's Monarch Purple. It's going to be just fire on it. I don't know if you can see that or not. Oop. You know what? There's actually a light. I hooked up a light to this other camera, so I just need to put the battery pack in. Oh, other way. There we go. So you guys can see the purple, hopefully. So let's go ahead and turn that off. So save the battery. And as I need to show it off, I'll turn the light on. So how's everybody doing today? What are some games that you guys have played recently? Is there any games that you guys are wanting to play that you haven't got to play? I know that we've been in this situation for almost a whole year now. It's coming up to a whole annual calendar. And maybe there's certain things that you miss about, the hobby. Obviously, I really miss conventions. I miss just being together with people. I'm a very social person. I like to be around people, like to talk to people. But then there's times where I just like to be by myself, But it's really hard to game when you can't meet up with people. And I'm not very much of a solo gamer. Never really have been. I always, the reason I got into the hobby was because I was playing games with people. And I can do some solo gaming, but I don't have the motivation to do solo gaming. So this is turning out really good. What I'll do after this too is I'll go over the eyeballs with like a white color. Alright, so we can turn this on again. Yeah, it's coming along now. Most of it's purple. It's going to dry as a darker purple, as you can see already that it is. Back here I still need to get, I think I need to get some more of this paint on there. Alright. So after I'm done painting the purple, I'll go to the inside of the mouth here and I'll do that gem purple. And then I'll start coloring the eyes. My fear is that if I try to color the eyes first, when I go to paint the inside with that purple, that gem purple, I'm going to end up coloring the eyes. So instead of trying to do extra work for myself, I think I can save myself a little bit of work by not worrying about doing the eyes right now, but doing more of a touch-up on those. So there we go. Yeah, look at that. And I'm basing it off this here, as you can see. This thing's got lots of spikes. I'm trying to make sure I get all the tips of those. And then after I paint the eyes, looks like they have like little red dots for eyeballs. Looks like there's actually a black dot with a red dot in the center. So I don't know if I can pull that off, but that doesn't mean I might not try. But after I paint them white, I will dry brush them with like a gray or something, because they're not actually white, they're kind of a grayish color. So hopefully I can do that. And then I can do the dots. And if I mess up, it's okay. I can always touch that up. Look at that. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get this whole thing painted today, but I'm going to try. It's kind of late. I was trying to mess with the Streamlabs OBS, and I was having some difficulty getting everything set up, unfortunately. My one camera didn't want to show up, but finally it did. So I may just have to send that back because it's more of a frustration. It doesn't do exactly what I was hoping to do. Like, the camera actually has a zoom, like a remote that comes with it for zoom, but once it's in this mode, I can't zoom in when it's hooked up to the computer like that. However, I'm hooked up to an HDMI, I might be able to switch how it's projecting the images to the computer. All right. So I think I got it. Let's see here. I just need to push that paint around, help it to dry out faster. Yeah. All right. So I got this cup here. Man, there's a lot of purple on this brush. Gotta get it off. There we go. All right, so gem purple. Yeah, that's a really good color. I think it's gonna pop well. So I guess I will use. I think I'll try this one for right now and see how it does. I'm just trying to get the inside of that mouth, right? Whatever spikes or teeth or whatever you want to call these things that I accidentally paint, I can always go back over with a dark color. So, yeah, there we go. That actually looks pretty good. You can see in there, you can see the different colors. So I'm obviously getting the lip, which is okay. Because in here you can see that maybe some of the lip is, I guess, highlighted per se. So once I'm all done, I'll see how much damage is done and then go from there. It's almost like it's a Venus flytrap of some sort, you know? All right. So as that's drying, I'm going to switch gears, start painting on this one here. And so I'm trying to figure out how would I really get, or should I capture this creature, this demon of might. And so if you look at the picture here, it's got some dark undertone, but it's got mostly red. And so I'm thinking, do I just need to leave it black or paint it even more black and then dry brush red on it? Obviously, it looks like the horns, excuse me, the horns are possibly a dark bone color. And possibly even the hooves, you know, the legs, look like they could be a separate color. And so I might see what I can do there. The hands too. So let's go with black and then dry brushing some red on it and see how it turns out. I think that would be a good plan for right now, just to kind of see, because I have a black sitting here and it's a thicker black, so I don't have to put a whole lot on. Maybe I'll just test it too. I won't do the whole thing black, and I'll just dry the, do a dry brushing. I think some areas will be lighter, and I say lighter, I mean like there'll be more or less paint on the bristles, and then others where it'll be more heavier, so it'll be a little bit more wet paint. Where did I do with that? Oh, where did it go? I had like a pod of black. I don't think I would have stuck it in here. The only place it might be is over here. Nope, not seeing it. It's not in this paint box I got here. It's got to be in here somewhere. Not there. There's the purple. It's not here. Oh, there it is. It was actually up there. I thought it was a wash. So, my mistake. Oh, there we go. Now, I'm going to use a different brush to get the majority of this. These are some really old brushes that I've used for a long time. A lot of them need to be thrown away. So I think I'm just going to set this to the side. For right now. However, I can use this one here. So take some of this black, kind of get it off a little bit. And I will just paint. I guess I'll paint the wings. And I think it's turning out pretty well. It's covering really well, sticking very well. Just got to push it around. Someone said something on my live feed. Let's check that out. Oh, someone was complimenting on our Pathfinder session. Hey, thanks for playing. I really enjoy playing with you guys. And thanks for watching tonight. I run Pathfinder at a local game store every other Friday night, and tonight was a very challenging adventure for the group. Like, I didn't think they were going to make it out. So we are playing the Fall of Plaguestone, and they were at the pit. So you can imagine, if you've played that adventure or know what's in it, what they encountered. So I think what I'm going to do, because I'm having trouble seeing my screen from there, I'm going to go ahead and turn on YouTube on my phone. That way I can see what other people are saying. There it is. Now I'll just set it to mute. There we go. Turn on live chat. So, hopefully you're still on, Matthew. Or should I just say Matt? Whichever you prefer. Just doing the inside of the wing now. Make sure I cover all of it. I think I did. It's all that wing and the inside and the outside. It's black. Yeah, look at that. All right. So I'll do the other wing. think it's going to turn out pretty good. Just hoping it works out. What's everybody up to tonight? Also, if you guys haven't seen, I uploaded a video of a review for a Kickstarter game, Bamboo Bash. I had the opportunity of getting a copy of Bamboo Bash from Imperial Publishing, sorry, and playing it, learning it, and reviewing it. I also had the opportunity to take it to the church that I go to and play with some of the people that, like, they have a game group there that plays every couple weeks or every other week. It's just kind of whenever they feel like it. I was able to play with families and adults and some kids. Got some good feedback on it. And so you can check out that video. And the Kickstarter isn't live yet, but there's a link in that video to the Kickstarter. All right. So let's go ahead and do his arm. I'm not going to do his hand because his hand is going to be like a darker bone color. I'm just doing the rest of the body so that way I can do the dry brushing on it. I also won't paint the horns black. I mean, I could, but why waste the time or the paint? And I'm not going to intend to paint those black. That's what it looks like so far. So I don't know if I need to adjust the camera here. There we go, that's better. Because then I can actually show you like this. Try to get to underneath of his chin. Paint his chest and body. At the top of his head. I'm obviously going to paint his teeth white. But he has some horns that's sticking out from his face, though. That's something to acknowledge. I'm definitely going to be painting his eyes white with like a almost like a red or orange almost outline. So I think it's time for me to get a different laptop because I think this one is running slow. I've had it the last 5 years or so, maybe. I think I got it in 2005. So coming up on almost 6 years. That seem right? Yeah, this guy's turned out pretty good. And then the nice thing about this black too is that it's drying really, really fast. Pushing paint around. Gotta get the inside of his thighs. So that looks like I got it. For the most part, I think it does. Checking. Looks like I did. So, the only thing I didn't paint was his hooves and his hands, and then the horns here on his face. So I'll leave that like that for right now. Let that finish drying, and I think I'll go back to this. So let's clean that off. Cleaning these brushes. There we go. All right. So I guess I'll go back to one of these other brushes I was using earlier. That one. Now I'll go back to that darker purple. This is still open, and I'll just go over the teeth here and the lips. Like where the lip curls over to towards the outside, I'm going to leave that purple. 2 reasons. I think it looks pretty good like that. The other reason is if I try to go in there, I may end up getting darker paint on that lip and causing more of an issue. So sometimes mistakes look good. And as Bob Ross would call it, a happy little mistake. Actually, that's not what he says, is it? Because there is no mistakes. It's happy accidents. That's it. It's a happy accident. Yep. There we go. Look at that. All right. So, I guess we can start painting the eyes. I'm going to get a finer brush for that. We also need some white. So I got some Vallejo Blanco white. Give it a quick little shake. I think I can use this for the eyes on the outside. And then on the inside, I think I'll use that one. Actually, I think I better use that for the dots on the eye. So, I'll just have to reach in that bag and see if there's a better brush I can use. A little more white than I wanted to use. That'll work. There we go. Now just look around the outside for some eyeballs. There's a group of them right here. with the eyes being this small, I have to push the paint around the outside of the eyeball. That way I'm not painting around the eye socket. Eyeballs are always the hardest for me. There you go, I'm getting it. Yeah. There's the 3 there. Now, is there more? Yeah, there's a bunch more. There's a few of them over here. I think I'm not getting enough paint on my brush. Part of it is I'm afraid of getting too much. But if I get too much, I make a mistake, I can always touch it up. Whew. I messed up a little bit right there, but I can go back over that and touch that up. Trying to get this grouping of eyeballs over here. Looks like that's one more. The very last one here. There you go. Make sure there's none on the back. Not seeing any. Alright, so minor touch up there. Give it a little second to dry, then I'll touch it up. Alright, so let's start painting that center, huh? When I say the center, I mean the center of the eyes. Like the mouth, that is. Right, so this one here. This one's more about just pushing the paint around the center of the slit and trying not to get the walls. It's got a whole gaggle of eyes in there. I have to retouch up some of these teeth because I keep getting white on them. we go. Let that dry. And then let's go over to this Demon of Might. Mighty, mighty. So, as we can look at him, we can see that there's a couple different shades of red on him. So what I can do is use a darker red first, and then dry brush again with a lighter red, and kind of work my way to a little bit of orange in some areas. So I have this Mephiston red. So I'm wondering how this will do first. And his wings don't look like there's a whole lot of red on them other than the bones. So I may just focus on his arms and body first. Maybe. Well, I guess we'll just see. We'll just have to see how it turns out, you know? The artwork on the card is going to be hard to match on a paintbrush, you know what I mean? So I got to find a decent brush I can dry brush with for the size of him. I think that might work. So I'll get some on here, right? And I'll just rub it off. So if you can see here on this piece of paper, I just rub off the paint, right? My goal is to just get some off, right? And then we go back here and then we dry brush it. Dry brush, dry brush. And I want it to be a little more heavier on this coat here, you know, because I want the red to kind of come off. Because then obviously I'm going to add the lighter red and then the orange and stuff. And the nice thing about this red too, it's really thick, so I think it'll help with the dry brushing technique because it's going to coat those bristles. Yeah, I think I like the way that's looking. I gotta go this way. Make sure I get that. So I'll show you the back here in a second. I think the back is looking really gorgeous. So look at that. That's the back so far. So hopefully I can get closer. I'm not sure exactly how the camera angle is working there. There we go. Yep. Okay, so the camera, yep, I think it's about right there. Yep. So back to getting some more paint here. And I don't mind getting a little bit thicker on here. Even going back and forth like this just to make sure I can get those scales on the back. All right. Now to the side of him, right? Let's turn that. Try to get the underneath of his tail. Get a little bit more red. I don't mind it if his tail is a little more red. Alright, so we want to get as much of this as we can. I think that's looking pretty good. A little bit thicker because I want the red to kind of pop on his head because we want those horns to really stick out. There we go. Yeah. Try to get some more of his leg. Get more of his tail. Get more of his underwing. Turn out decently. The lighter colors are going to make them stand out more. Obviously, I'm trying to coat more of the red on there, just so that way when I put some of those lighter colors on there, it really causes them to pop. So I think that's about right for the camera angle. So that was a little too high. Right there, maybe. Assess him real quick. Get his shoulder blades a little bit better. Try to get the underwing. The underwing right there. Yeah. So let's pick a different color now. Something that's a little bit lighter. All right. So I have fire red. Let's try that. And I'm not going to worry about cleaning out this brush because being that it's the next layer, I don't mind if it blends in some. Try putting on the wet palette. So let's see what it does, right? That's causing some things to stand out because I'm not trying to cover every inch like I was before. So you can see where the lighter colors are now. So I'm going to get some more. Slowly pour. There we go. Some of that. Mix in with that red so it blends in a little better. There we go. And then try to get the top of his shoulders there. Inside of his wings. Trying to move faster this time, because I don't want to sit too long in one area. So we're almost done with this color. Just trying to quickly move over him. And he's really starting to stand out now. So you can see here, this is standing out pretty good here. I need to put a little bit more here, it looks like. There we go. Give some there. You can see where the shades are different. So like obviously on just right here, you can see it's a little bit darker red than the tips. And that's what I wanted. Alright, so now we need to find somewhat of an orange color. Something that's not too orange. We got orange red. Let's try that. And so on this one, I'm only wanting to focus on like his thighs, shoulder blades, and maybe just some of the wing. And again, I'm not going to clean off this brush because I don't mind if it blends some. Especially with the nature of the colors. Alright, so yeah, let's get them all mixed in. How about that? That way I create like an orangish reddish color. And then, like I said, focus on the thighs. Shoulder blades. So you can get his head a little bit, you know. I think the wings here. Get some of the scales on the back, just the tip of them, you know. And run this way. So I don't want to go this way because I don't want to try to get in the inside. I just only want it on the outside there. This is turning out how I was really hoping it would. So yes. So as you can see, hopefully I got it close enough to where you can see it. Let's get a little closer. To make sure that I don't have it too close or up the right way. But yeah, I mean obviously I still need to color his eyes and his hands and hooves and stuff. But that is how I was kind of hoping he'd turn out. So. Now we need to dry brush those eyes. I'm going to get a gray color to do that. Almost would be okay with metallic, just because they almost look like opals or pearls. Those eyes do. But I'm not going to do that. So I think I'll just let that sit in that water for a little bit. Move this over here for right now. Gray, gray, gray. Which gray should I use? I want a lighter gray. So I will set that there. Edge bone probably would look good on it. Actually, I could use a vampire skin, I think. Maybe. Why not? We'll try it. We'll just see what it does. Maybe not. It's going to be a little bit lighter than I was hoping for. I don't need a dark gray or anything. I just need... That was a silver. Not sure what this is. So... Here's Shadow Snow. It's kind of like a grayish blue. Maybe I'll try that. That might work. Because I just want a dry brush, remember? I don't want to paint the whole thing. Alright. So, get some on there. Try to dust it off. I need to touch up some of those areas. It's kind of working. Not so much though. I mean, it is. It definitely needs a little bit darker of gray. Don't need metallic colors. Weathered stone, that would be good. I think I need to go to Walmart and get some more of these kinds of brushes, like the packs that have the whiter brushes, because that's what I use for the dry brushing. There we go. I think that's going to work. I'm going to try to use a different brush, though. I don't want to use a brush that's going to get ruined. May have to for right now. Actually, I think adding this to the majority of this might actually make it look better. So I might have some on here just to try. Give it a dusty look. And I think it might make it pop and stand out more, because when I put that purple wash on it, right? So when I put the purple wash on, I got to make sure that it's thin for around the eyes, because I do not want it to stick on the eyes. Make sure I get some places where the white touched. I just want to make sure I get those. There we go. All right. Get some more weather stone on there. Don't want to get too much, just kind of give him a dusty look, just to make his arms and horns, or whatever you want to call these things here on the side, stick out. Tops of the teeth. Maybe some of the skin here, I don't know what you want to call it, if it's skin or whatever. But yeah, he's got a dusty look to him now. So I think he's ready for wash. And again, I really want to make sure that I thin out that wash for around his eyes. So shake this up really good. And then I think I'll use this brush here for the wash for around the eyes. The first thing I want to do is dip my brush in here, take off the excess, dip it in water to thin it out. Now, to push it around the eyes. Now I want to get it off the eyes, so I'll kind of dry out the brush a little bit and then push that off, right? Because I don't want it sitting on the eyes for very long. That looks pretty good there. So again, dab it, dip it, and start pushing around the eyes here too. I'll put a little more in the eyes up here and here. You know, because I want it to fill around the eyes. I don't want it to cover the eyes. Get wet some more. Just kind of spread out that stuff on the inside. There and there. Alright, so now I can go around most of it. I'm going to be careful on the eyes on the outside. I don't get purple everywhere that I can on this thing. Dab some water on it because I don't mind it being a little thinner to help move it around so it doesn't pool. It's dripping. And dripping's never really a good sign because it means I got too much. So that or I thinned it out too much. I think I'm liking the way that's turning out. Hey, Jazz. I surely will teach you how to paint if you want me to. If you want to come over here Sunday, I can teach you how to paint. I got nothing going on. Yeah, look at that. So on the back, I'm going to make it a little bit thicker because I put a little too much dusting on it. Try to get it on the fingertips. Now, I need to go back through and check the eyes. And try to pull off any of this stuff from the eyes that I can. So now what I'll do is I'll go back with the white while it's still wet, mind you, and kind of just dab on some white to those outer eyes. The inside eyes are looking good, but because they're wet, I'm hoping that it will cause the white paint to kind of expand with the wetness. So I don't want to put too much on, because what it could happen is it could basically liquefy it and spread it too much. So, but it's doing exactly what I was hoping it would. See? I kind of dab it on, and because it's still wet, it's causing it to thin out and move, and that's what I want it to do. Alright, so I'm going to let this dry out, because I can go back over and start actually dabbing the dots on the eyes. Now for this guy here, I think we're ready for some, like the darker bone, I think. I was waiting if I want to put some wash on him, but I don't think I need to put any red wash on him, because he's, if anything, I want to possibly put some Nolan oil on him to make him stand out a little more. So I guess we'll just have to go from there. So the color I'm looking for, I have all my bone colors sitting in here. So it's a dark shadow. That is a bone color. That might be too dark though. Bone shadow, that'd be perfect. It's almost dried up. Nice. Chaz says he's making his own Nolan oil. Hopefully that works out really well for you. Probably a lot cheaper than buying it from Citadel Paints, that's for sure. So as this is drying, I want you to take another look at it and just see how that wash kind of is blending in really well as it dries. I may throw a little bit of Nolan oil on that, just on the outside. I'll try to avoid the eyes. So I want a better brush like this. This is a Nick Pro Spot. And so I'm going to use that to paint on the shadow bone, the hands. And I'll use it for the horns as well. So what I'll do here with this shadow bone, paint it on, and then I may dry brush a darker color on top of it. Pushing it around, trying to avoid the arm altogether, because I already got the arm where I want it. It'll be a lot harder to touch that up. Yeah, it's looking really good. So my goal is to hopefully get these to the point where I can just let them dry and then put some sealer on them. It might not look like much now with his hand, but once I start dry brushing that darker color on it, I think it's going to cause some of his knuckles to really darken up. And the reason why I'm going to use a darker color is because I think I definitely have to use the Nolan oil for the hooves, the hands, and the horns, because that will fill in really nicely and provide them with a really dark tone. I really enjoy the bone colors of the Reaper miniature paints, because when you put wash on them, man, do they pop. Because they almost have like a matte look to them, very dry out, just like you would expect bones to be. Yeah, this guy's looking better and better by the moment. There we go. So there's his horns, his one hand. And so to be careful, I'm really just trying to push the paint around his hand to almost make it look like it's a glove. Because that's how the mold kind of makes it look. go. I'm just going to get the tips of his hands over here. There we go. Look at that. Right now, his hooves. So I'm like, I can be a little more careless here because I'm going to end up changing the color of this base anyways. What I mean is by painting it. The only thing I have to be careful is just the back of his leg. Making sure I don't put paint on the back of his leg when I'm pushing paint around that area. Because everything underneath here is all the hoof. So that will be okay. There we go. Almost done with him as far as like doing this portion. And then the nice thing also about the bone paint from Reaper Paints, Reaper Miniatures, should I say, it dries really fast. So I might be able to just dry brush once I finish this. There we go. Looks pretty good. And as it dries, obviously you can tell it's getting darker too. So what brush do I want to use? I guess I could use this one. So the question is now is what darker color do I want to use? I could try the black and see what it does. Since it's thicker, I may not have to use as much. Get this wet and try it again. There we go. The reason I want to use a smaller brush is because it's a really smaller area, and I don't want to mess up all the other areas I've already finished. So I'm hoping this can produce more like a shadow coloring to it. Yes, I'm actually using a wet palette right now. As you can see, I got a sponge sitting under here to help stay moist. I prefer the wet palette because it keeps the paints open longer, but then it also depends on what kind of paint I'm using. Ooh, yeah, look at that. It's giving it that shadow look I'm wanting. As you can see here, it's really toning it out. Yeah, let me know how that works for you. I really like the Army Painter, I guess supplies you'd call it. I really like their product, so I'm really interested in that. They used to sell dips. I don't know if they still do. It's like a can of wash almost that you would just open up and you dip your miniature into it and just take it out and let it hang dry. Yeah, I'm really liking the way that this dark black is being dry brushed onto the hands right now. So it's doing what I was hoping it would do. For primer, I use I have to go look at the can, but normally I use a spray paint primer only because it allows me to coat with an even surface versus trying to brush it on. These ones that I'm doing now, I actually use the Reaper miniature primer. They're a little bit thinner, so you have to like work faster with them, and then sometimes you may have to put on a second coat. But I just didn't want to try to spray paint in the wintertime because when you spray paint in the wintertime, the paint can crystallize when it starts to dry. Or it might become blotchy, or it may become sticky in some areas. Now, if my garage was a little more cleaner, I could go out there and spray paint and I would be okay because it doesn't mean it stays a little bit warmer than outside, but it is cold. There's just a lot of moisture, obviously, in the air in the wintertime. Now, if I had proper ventilation in my game room, I would definitely spray paint in here because it's much, much drier. Well, obviously, we got the forced heat drying out the air, but I just don't want paint dust everywhere. Yeah, look at that. So you darken up these caps on his knee. Yeah. I'm liking that. So I did see I missed a little bit of his horn back here. Almost gives it the brimstone look by going from lighter to darker. I like that. Yeah, see? I really like the way that looks. Hopefully I got it set to a place where you guys can see it. Alright. Alright, so I can go ahead and put some red around his eyes. He's got like 4 slits, like right where his nose is. Basically, those are his eyes from the picture. I think I will just go ahead and use that orange I got mixed up over here. So where is that brush I was using earlier? I just want to cut the color of the slits if possible. Because what's going to happen is I'm going to add some wash to it. And then in the middle of those slits, I'm going to just drop a little bit of white to hopefully cause the eyes to look like they're glowing. Alright. Oh. Shake this up some. Now we can get some of that Nolan oil. Give it a quick little shake up. Now I'll use this brush to kind of push it around. And I don't mind it being thicker. I'm not going to thin it down on this miniature because obviously I want that darker tone on that bone. Ooh, yeah. Liking that. I don't mind if I get a little bit of the wash on the back side here of his hand, because what it's going to do is going to come down anyways with gravity, and it's going to fill in that little gap there between, like, basically where his arm would be going into. Well, it almost looks like a glove, but it's just his hand. I guess I could have painted his teeth while I'm sitting here. There we go. See how he's getting. Obviously, I painted his teeth white and then added some Nolan oil to fill in the spaces in between the teeth. There we go. Let him dry. So now let's see what we can do with this Choas Beast. Alright, so move that out of the way. I can actually take this, and I see a little bit of pools underneath the feet. Spread those out. Alright. So let's get some black out. Use this Army Painter brush. It says Insane Detail. Got a very fine tip. Just get the tip of the brush, kind of brush off the excess. And just dab onto the sockets. I'll brush a little bit harder on the, I guess not the socket, but like where the eye hole is. The reason I do that, pressing harder, is because I'm going to come back through with the red and not press as hard. Now this one's the interesting one, doing all these little eyes in here. Guys have to start at the top, work our way down, hey? Because if you're going to learn how to do eyeballs, this is the way to do it. What makes it more difficult is having all these teeth in the way. So now I got to back through and just tap those with a little bit of red paint. So this one here should dry pretty quickly. So I'll take a new piece of paper towel out. I like to twist it as I pull the paint off for the finer tip brushes, because I want to preserve those tips. Very important to do. Let's go ahead, I guess, and try that white paint on the eye of this guy. Boom. Got his eyes done. Now we just need to paint the base, which I think I'll wait to do off camera, because that won't be anything to do. I'll just probably use either black or red. I could probably throw some basing on there if I wanted to too. which I bought a box of it. I have like singles and stuff, but I actually bought a package that had several different kinds. That was kind of neat. But I think this guy turned out really well. Obviously here you can't see a whole lot because of the shadows, but yeah, I think it turned out pretty well. What do you think? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Oh, that guy. Let's see what kind of mess I can make. This is where I actually need my magnifying glasses. I have like a visor that has a magnifying, like jeweler glasses almost, you know. So I think I have to touch up this eye. If I have to touch up one out of all of them, I'm okay with that. Starting to move on me. Not bad. I think I'll go ahead and add some Nolan oil to those eyes to see if it helps with hiding some of the, I guess you call it like over spreading. But I'll do it very thinly though. But there is one eye here that I do need to touch up with some white. Completely missed the center. And I thought I touched up some of these teeth, but it looks like I may have missed one or two. So that was the Monarch Purple. There we go. But so far, here is the Chaos, or sorry, not Chaos Beast. This is the Demon of Might. This is the Chaos Beast here. So that's what we have for the finished product. Oh, it's getting late. Finished product there. So hopefully you can see that. And then this is almost done too, as you can see. Put some Nolan oil on that. All right, so I think I got another small bottle of this somewhere, but I probably should pick up a big bottle. I go through a lot of Nolan oil. Oh yeah, that's exactly what I was hoping it would do. Boom. Makes it almost look like it's gooey in there because it feeds into the eyeball sockets, you know, so it separates them and distinguishes them. That's what I was looking for. Now, on the back here, I don't want any water. I want it to be thick as I kind of spread it around. And that I would call done. It just needs to dry. I need to finish painting the base. And then putting on that sealer. So I actually knocked out 2 miniatures tonight. Whew. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned this weekend. We got some more other things coming up. I'm going to try to do some live playthroughs tomorrow, or just some live plays. Have some friends come over and do some live play. Or even Sunday, I'm trying to do more painting. So hey, thanks for tuning in. See you guys next time.